What's up, guys? Welcome back to the TCG Scrubs podcast. I'm Oscar, and joined by the usuals, Joey of Joe's Corner. How's that corner going, Joey?
It's going great.
And
really
Colin.
corner.
It's what? I thought you were done
It's a really comfortable corner.
A lot of videos being filmed there?
Yeah. No, that's why it's so comfortable, because there's nothing happening there.
Well, there you go, guys. And Team ARG's Colin. How's it going, Colin?
Oh, it's going all right.
Do some good tournaments this weekend? We'll talk about that soon.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
How's that Team ARG going?
We'll find out.
All right, we'll talk about that in a second. But as usual, thank you for joining us. And if you'd like to support the channel, make sure to visit some links that are all available in the description below, starting with Happy Little Hug Factory, where you can go pick up some singles or sealed product, as well as sell some of the singles you may have that you don't need anymore. And they have pre-orders up of the new set. What's the new set called, Colin? I already forget the name of it.
Strangers of New Valhalla.
There you go. And you can pick up that pre-release order. And also to visit patreon.com/TCG Scrubs. I normally like to pitch how they help us upgrade our audio and our video and all that. And like last week's podcast, I was thinking Joey's audio sounded funny. We ended up finding out he wasn't even pulling from his main mic. He was pulling from his webcam mic.
Yeah,
Joey.
I don't know how it happened.
But
I'm sure he doesn't know.
It's on his main mic now, so it should be fine. But if you'd like to become a patron, patreon.com/TCG Scrubs.
We should have some interesting videos coming up this week on there, so keep an eye out for that if you're already a patron.
And for our patrons who are already there, coins are coming out tomorrow. I'll be shipping those out. Found all the stamps I had saved to the side just this earlier day when I was cleaning up. But yeah, so that's about it for the intros. We can jump straight into it now. So Colin, what did we do this weekend? I think we're going to tell Joey
Oscar and I. So, real quick, I'm gonna pitch this to you, Oscar.
Uh-huh.
One, I was thinking about this, and this would be great. If for people familiar with YouTube, I think they'll think this is hilarious. For this podcast, I think it should be called like story time. Our trip to ARG (parentheses not clickbait) or something like that. And then our Patreon video will be similar. It'll be like story time. We got in trouble (parentheses not clickbait). Something like that.
I think so. So that way, now everybody's like, "Whoa, they got in trouble." I have to go become a patron now. Way to go, Colin.
It's not clickbait. Don't worry. A little clickbaity, but yeah. So Oscar and I went on a little adventure of we basically, long story short, we went did sort of a drive down to Dallas to the Dallas ARG. Then we drove back, and then on the following day on Sunday, we drove out and did the Austin ARG, and then we drove back. So that's a long story short. So thanks for joining us for the podcast this week, guys.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us.
Be sure to subscribe.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's a great.
It's never been used before.
Quick follow up to last week's podcast when we went over the test. One, no, none of us passed. You saw that nut list, and two, there was a little bit of feedback here and there. People saying none of these answers are correct. People are going to mislead people. I think we made it pretty clear in the video that those were our choices, and we knew some of them were wrong. And we even all realized as we're going through, like, oh yeah, we got these all wrong.
Yeah, it was clearly, we were trying to make it very clear. It was just sort of an open discussion and stuff like that. So I think most people understood that. Mm-hmm. And if you guys want the legit video, we had a video come out after that where we talked to an L1 judge who went and took the L0 test and got a perfect 100 on it. So we talked to him and went through every single question, what the correct answer was and why. And in this description or on our website, you can go. He also wrote an complete article with every single question and the relevant CR references and stuff like that. Really good guide, especially if you took the test and you passed it. You want to go see in what answers you got wrong so you're not making incorrect rulings and stuff like that as well. It was a really great discussion, and I highly recommend looking at that.
It's with Ronan Morris, just in case you were wondering.
Yeah.
Colin didn't say his name at all. Also, and to be clear, is we had permission to do all of this with the test and show the images and give the answers, because going forward, it won't be the same test again. So that's why it's completely okay for us to have done that.
Which is good. I was telling Oscar, because I went and took the test once, took it again. We went through the test for the podcast, went through the test with Ronan and stuff like that. And just like each time I went through the test, I began to dislike it more and more. Like I'm pretty confident saying I did not like how this test turned out, honestly.
Yeah. And when I say we had permission, we had from the judge council themselves. They gave us the okay. But anyways, so back to, I just wanted to clear up what happened last time on the podcast. But
yeah, so back to the ARGs, yeah.
So Texas actually had 3 ARGs. One was in Lubbock, one was in Dallas, and one was in Austin. So we decided, since Saturday was Dallas, we'll drive up there. It's only 2.5 hours away from where Colin is. It'd be easy drive, right? So we went up there, got there pretty early. I think we were there at 10 a.m. and it was supposed to start up at 11, right?
No, it started up at 12. 11 was signups.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were there super
So we got mixed up, yeah.
We caught a bunch of Pokemon. That's fine. And
yeah, Oscar caught a shiz ton of Pokemon.
I was actually, we'll talk about that later, just Colin. Anyways, so we get there. No, the event itself didn't necessarily happen like the way I think you ideally would be like, oh, there's 8, 12, 15, 16 people. There was about 5 of us, unfortunately, due to the holiday weekend. A lot of people were out of town, and some had just left that weekend, so...
Yeah, and that seemed to be, and talking with them and with our store owner in Austin and stuff like that, it seems like it's just bad to do it. I don't know. I didn't even think about it until we got to Dallas, and I was like, oh yeah, next week's Thanksgiving. Why the heck are we doing an event the weekend before Thanksgiving? No one's going to come to this. Like, the only reason we came is because... I can, is because like I'm unaffected by Thanksgiving. I don't care. No, we do our Thanksgiving. we don't. I like the family that we do our Thanksgiving with is just down the road, and we do it not on Thanksgiving Day. We do it on the following weekend and stuff like that. So I'm unaffected by it. But for most people, it's a bigger deal. That's if you can't celebrate it the weekend after or anything like that, or during the week because of Black Friday and you work at retail and stuff like that, you would do it the weekend before, because usually it's weird to celebrate stuff the weekend after and stuff like that. So it's just I don't understand why it's on that. And like our local store owner was saying like how she agrees of like it's weird to have it on that weekend before Thanksgiving, and it's something that I think ARG has done each year. So I'm curious why that is, and hopefully they'll change it going forward, because, it was a little unfortunate that there just wasn't people to show up. Not because they didn't want to come, but just because they couldn't come.
Yeah. And I know while we had issues, other states didn't have issues. There's some that had 20 people, 16 people. I know Lubbock had 9, so...
Well, when you say didn't have issues, they were able to fire off. But if it was on Thanksgiving week, instead of 12 people, would they have had 15 people? Instead of 19 people, would they have 25? Like, there's no situation where it's better to have it on this weekend versus another weekend.
Yeah, I'm not justifying that when it happened. I'm just saying how, well, we had issues, other people didn't, so here's others.
Yeah, it's not indicative of like the state of the game or anything like that. Is the point I was trying to get at is I think it's more due to the holiday and not like, oh no, people aren't coming, because I still think that the hype for the game is higher than it's been in a long time.
Yeah. When I was talking with Oscar before we had started, I was kind of thinking like, it's not a bad like, like the rulers aren't like super impressive right now. Besides maybe like people are a little wary about time spending witch and stuff. And but like I think the rules are in a decent spot right now. And going forward, it's probably going to get better and better. So I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think we're in a pretty good spot. And from what I've seen of different people's reports from the ARGs is that it seems to be a pretty decent spread across the board. The only one that seems to be consistently higher as far as being played and winning is Time Spin Witch. But it's it's not that big of a jump from that to the second place ruler and third and fourth and fifth. It's just slightly above. So it's a pretty healthy place, I think, at this point in time.
Speaking of, how did you guys the 5-man ARG?
So that we did it.
It was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah. It was just kind of 2 rounds essentially, and then top cut for 4, so one person didn't get to play. and then
it's technically 3 rounds, and then top cut to 4 for 2 more rounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's kind of how it went. I played Ayu for the weekend. Colin played.
I played the Tigress deck, the ruler-oriented version of it that I like to play. Which later this week I should have a deck profile coming out, hopefully Friday for that as well. It's okay. Oscar's dog is really happy.
Oscar's totally.
She's just walking around the room, is what that is. And last time I didn't do it last time because that would be funny. Just leave it. But back on track. So we're gonna vlog the entire trip, and it was going great. We get there, but then when I realized nobody was gonna be there, I was like, "Yeah, we're not gonna vlog. It's just there's no content here." I was gonna, yeah, that's fine. And it was funny because Colin's playing a game, and like as he's playing, he's like, "You're not gonna record." And I'm like, "You're like we're on round 3 right now, and you're gonna ask me I'm not gonna record."
Well, it was because of the situation that was unfolding, which we'll get to in a sec, which I think would have been very record worthy.
Yeah, I took a photo and then I took a video of like y'all's final play on that game that you're talking about, but
So we'll go through. So you had IU, I had Tigris. I know there was a Keurig deck, or at least it named Keurig inside of the deck.
Keurig,
there was
Brunhild, and Scarlet.
And Scarlet, yeah. So we'll start with game 1. So game 1, I played against Scarlet, and that one was sort of a back and forth because I forgot about burn cards that do like the 1200 damage and whatnot, or 1100 I think is the one he was using, stuff like that. So he just basically used burn spells and killed me game 1, and then game 2 I took it, and game 3 I took it after that point. But it was pretty interesting deck. It was nice to see Scarlet being played and stuff like that. I should go over, and you should too, Oscar, my Panda deck. So like I said, it's basically runs green and white, and it runs for green. It runs 4 Spirit Magic Stones, and I also to produce green in other colors if I need to. I run obviously Gem Out Panda, and I can produce a green gem if I want to produce will. And basically, it's all just producing gems. A bunch of every single resonator in there is a 100 attack resonator, which will be important later. And they all are just meant to get gems so that I can flip over Judgment, swing in both my ruler, recover him, swing in, and then resuscitate will to recover and swing in for game.
Stupid.
And among various things. So as long as I can get, all I have to do is live until at least turn 4. If I can live till turn 4, which is usually when I Judgment, then I'm pretty confident that I can take the game most of the time. So yeah, so that was my game 1, and that's my deck. So Oscar, you want your deck in your game 1?
Yeah, sorry, I took my dog's collar off, so it won't be an issue anymore.
Your dog's probably like traumatized now. It's like, why?
So yeah, I went ahead and ran IU. It's loosely based on like all the top lists you see. I made some changes just for the way kind of I played with it. Joey's seen it. I think it was slightly changed beyond Joey what he had seen.
Yeah, I told you to add in statue.
Mm-hmm. Which I still don't think that was that great in there. Either of those. I think any of them. Yeah. Maybe just one of them was okay. It's very situational. But no, I did that. Played Keurig for round 1, which was Roderick. And who's a very good Keurig player if anybody's familiar with him. And yeah, no, he was taking me out real quick game 1. I was like, I can't keep up. I'm just call it. Let's go game 2. And in game 2, man, I was able to stay going pretty well. Like I didn't win 2-0. He 2-0'd me, but I gave him a pretty hard time. I feel like game 2. I remember there was a moment where he had was it Hoel's champion pig, whatever guy, the one that removes counters, and then a Pael and play. And I was like, okay, I was judgmented. I was like, I'm gonna have to guard there at some point for IU Sword Strike to destroy one of these. So I can live in their turn and hopefully go off. And I remember there was he comes in, swings a pig, I Scarlet's Agony it, and the card I draw was IU Sword Strike. I'm like, oh, that worked out. Sword Strike, like, dang it. So you have like all the answers. I'm like, I know, I just top decked. That was crazy. And then we got to go on. He takes me out later on, but it went rather well. It was pretty nice. And then I lost. So that's how that went.
Yeah, and then so we went to game 2. So then I played against Roderick with his Keurig deck, and game 1 was, I forget if it was game 1 or 2. One of them I just turned 1 and 2 pulled a Spirit Magic Stone, which does not work well inside this deck. It could work well if I have Laureates in hand, but I didn't, and so it was just completely useless cards. And it took me a minute to sort of like get back in the swing of things of going against Kirik and how fast it's able to move with bringing out PL. And then once again, I forgot that Kirik had, because the other one was the spell that did 1100 damage. I forget the name of it. And I forgot Kirik had the one that does 1200 damage that you remove 5 counters and stuff like that. So the same thing of that one, and then he just burned me for 1200 at the end, and I was like, well, dang it, because I'll allow them to swing in and take damage, and I won't block it in order to keep things like Gem Out Panda and Zane Zane's Bodyguard onto the field in order to keep that gem production or will production with Gem Out Panda and stuff like that. And then he brought me down to exactly 12, and so I was like, okay, cool, I should survive with that, and then he just burned me. So, and game 2 was probably some variation of that, where it was probably game 1 where that burn happened. In game 2, I think, is where I pulled this stones and got sort of mana screwed there.
So your deck, in a way, kind of does like what I'm trying to do with IU, where I swing in heavy, recover, and swing in heavy again. Did he ever cross counter you? Because he had cross counters. He main decked 2 cross counters in his actual list. And I remember one time I got to I forget if it was like Look of Corruption or Thought Control to see his hand. And he had 2 in hand. And I was like, well, dang it. I remember that being there.
He never cross-countered me. I don't know if I ever judgmented or not that first time against him. Mm-hmm. If I did, I died quickly after that before I could do anything, because I was also trying to figure out how to best counter him, because if I judgment, he could in turn judgment with Kirik and try to burn my Panda. And so in that case, I need to wait to judgment until I have both 1 Light Will up and a Flourishing Hope in hand in order to survive that. Or a Lorite or something to stop his Kirik's enter ability so he doesn't get enough burn counter. Some sort of variation of cards or an open will to survive it. So it was just like a very precarious situation, and all I had to do was get the correct stones out, and it just wasn't happening at that time. So I lost 0-2 against the Kirik, if I remember. I don't think I won a game.
I had
Kirik.
to look up cross counter.
Mm-hmm.
It's I didn't realize that it protected you from like it you could use it on your self and like activate it. It's actually really
good. But yeah, so that was game 2. So how was your game 2, Oscar?
So my second game is how it went is gonna work. This whole story gets really interesting, especially for when it comes to Colin later. So I played Bryson, who had a very, very interesting Brunhild deck. Now I think Brunhild's kind of been something I had wanted to build in the past, but I just gave up on it. I didn't know how to approach it, whatever, and I went with Lucifer instead. But so he gains life like super easily. Like the amount of life he gained whenever he played, he was generally within the 6,800 to 7,200 range, like right around there. And so I was actually able. Okay, I lose 2-0. Let's get that out there.
Spoiler.
And our games went for a bit. I remember because I'd be like swing 4. He'd be like, okay, cool, my turn, heal 4. I'm like, oh yeah. Swing 4. He's like, okay, comes in his turn, heal 5. I'm like, yeah, all right. So he gets 6,000 something or other. In both games, I got him down from wherever 58, 6,000 he was down to 2 life each time, and I always fell short. Going to his turn, he would get game after that. But I was super proud of that. I was able to do that without you just like, all right, cool. I did all this damage to get you to 200 life each time, which is pretty cool. The story gets more interesting on cons play. So I lose, and I actually don't play for the rest of the day. And the reason why is because there was 5 people and I was in 5th. They go to the top 4. Those top 4 people play, and then they went whatever they did. I forget what happened. Like round 3, and then top 4 happens. But I'm out. So this goes to Colin now, who plays 2 more games after this. Is that right? 2 or 3?
Yeah. So then I went and played against. No, I played 2 more games.
No, you played.
Wait, yeah, you're right. 3
twice,
games.
and then Roderick on the.
Yeah, sure. We're spoilers.
Oops.
So I played against Brunhild, and it was like I was good. It was very life gaining, and it was cool because it wasn't just like cheap life gain. It was playing other cards that do something and then also gain life. So he's playing stuff and advancing the game while also gaining life. It's still a slower deck. So I played against him, and so game 1, it was similar to what I said. So I realize what he's doing with the gain life, and I realize he doesn't have a whole lot swinging into me as far as damage wise. It's enough that he could do damage, but it's low enough that I can block it without my stuff dying, for example, or just stave it off with miscalculation and stuff like that to survive. And so I'm like, okay, I see what's going on here. I'm just gonna sit back and just like gain gems and stuff like that, and then flip. I think that was game 1 that I did that. So, and it was what Oscar said. He got up to 60 something, I think, that game, and so then it was just basically me flipping, using my dark gems to kill each thing he has when it comes in the board. Which, by the way, has to happen a lot. So I have to constantly be replenishing dark gems because we're going against Brunhild. I'm like, okay, I'll kill that. So that goes to the graveyard, and then he plays something else, which pulls that back out of his graveyard. So I kill that, and then kill that, and then he'll like Judgment, which pulls the other thing out of the graveyard, which pulls another thing out of the graveyard. And so I'm like, okay, juke, 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 juke. So I'm like constantly spending and trying to get in dark gems, while also trying to like occasionally swing in and tick him down slowly down to 40 life, and then 38, and then he'd gain life back up to 45, and then I'd bring him back down. And so round 1 of that thing lasted about 40 minutes, I think, of or so. So we went into game 2, and that one went into time and on rounds, and I think I was turn 2, and then it was going to go to him for turn 3, which would have ended in a tie. But turn 2, I was able to swing in for game, if I remember right, for at the last second. That one went a little bit quicker. And so I was able to take that one. And so then we top cut, so I instantly went to play him again. And so now that we're in top 4, there's no time limit, which I forgot about. So I was like playing, and it was like, ju.
Well, and different places will do it differently. Like, I think in GPs, it's 80-minute rounds, right? So it makes sense
sure.
A period of time.
I'm a judge.
I don't either.
Yeah.
So we're playing at, was it game 1 or game 2? Shoot. So, I'm trying to remember, Oscar. Was game 1 or game 2 the big one?
Game 1's always the big one.
Was it round 1?
Yeah.
I mean, round 1.
Yeah.
So that was the one. So it was basically similar thing. He was gaining life, and then I was trying to chunk him down very slowly. And that one, I believe, if I remember right, I apologize also if you're listening to this, Bryson, and I am totally misremembering. I probably should have written some of it down so I remember. I might be mixing some of the games. But if I remember right, that was one where I felt like I had a decent field in the sense that I had 2 of Zanzin's bodyguards. So coming into my turn, I was gaining 2 gems and stuff like that. But... and he had a combo where he puts down the field card that all of his Resonators gain Eternal during his turn. And so he can play stuff like he has the Rune card, and he also says Destroy all Resonators. So it just destroys my field, and his field survives because they have Eternal. Or he ran, I forget the name of it, the one that says Destroy all non-Golem Resonators. He runs that one, and so he plays that with his field card, Crippling, and so it destroys my field and not his. And then he'll have that, and then he'll play the Angel also that says during your opponent's turn it gains +2/+2 in Barrier. And so it has Eternal on his turn, and then when it comes to my turn it has Barrier. And so that one's a whole thing to get rid of. Which also, I just want to take a moment to say, Mike Rance and other people from Team ARG told me that Escape Jeweler is not a good card to run. And that card is literally the greatest card. That is the reason I won any of the games at that event. Was Escape Jeweler is literally a god.
You hit a rough patch at one point though, because he had is it Mephistopheles, the name of it, where all the cards came in rested. So your Escape Jeweler was coming in rested, so you could use them immediately.
Yeah, but he also wasn't killing them, so it'd come into my turn, and then they'd untap and stuff like that. And I pulled off a cool combo where because had Separation of Fates in my sideboard, so I put it into my main board. So I Separation of Fate his Mephistopheles, so that I could put everything in, recovered, and do the combos and everything that I need to. And I think that was, but I get off track. So round 1, essentially back and forth, and that's the one where my ruler died, I believe.
I think so. Yeah, you're pretty devastated.
So
when you hit
my ruler died. Yeah, and so I basically was like, okay, my ruler's dead. And my first thought, and I'm glad I didn't do this, was like, should I just concede this game and go to the next game so that we don't go to time or anything like that? Because I didn't realize we weren't doing time. So I was like, yeah, I'll just play it out, we'll see what happens, because I think he was down to 12 life. I think I got him down to 12 life, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, how am I going to do this? And so basically, it was the scene of, I was accumulating gems, just playing stuff, and I would miscalc his resonators if I had a miscalculation or something like that. And I would, my big break was he swung into me, or I rested something with Escape Jeweler. I think I rested something with Escape Jeweler. It came into my turn, and I pulled Power of the Emperor, which buffs something 6/6. So like, okay. So I swung into his rested resonator, which was the big one that he was going to hit me with, and killed my resonator, swung in, killed another resonator to kill that. And then from that point, he would slowly play resonators, and I would slowly kill them with miscalc, or I think one time I played Burgeoning Despair, different things like that. And each time I'd be swinging in with one of my resonators just to do 100 damage to him. Because like I mentioned at the beginning, every last resonator in that deck only has 100 attack, nothing else. And so I was literally just ticking him down, and both of us were just trying to top deck. And he would put down a resonator, and then I'd pull down. I'd just keep Escape Jewelering it to keep it rusted while I'd try to tick him down each 100. And at one point, he was able to pull the inverse card that gains 400 life and draw a card. So I had gotten down to like 400, and then he went back up to 800. Yeah. And so I was like, well, dang it, that's a really big deal at the situation we're in.
That's like 2 turns of like damage that Colin's trying to get in, and he recovered from. I've never seen it.
And I kept like top decking Lorites right before he would play the resonator that pulls a resonator from the graveyard and stuff like that, so I'd be able to Lorite stuff like that. And so basically that situation kept playing out, and then I was able to win at the very end, because he got me down to, we're almost identical health by the end of that, where we both were around that like 10 health mark, and then we're both ticking ourselves down and stuff like that. And I think the card he needed was like the turn after I killed him, he would have pulled. So, and then we're like, okay, how long was that round, Oscar? How long did that round go? That single game?
That single game? I don't know. I just don't know how long the entire series was.
Okay. Well, that single game was the majority of it. I would say that's about 70% of what the whole round was. Round 2, I forget the specifics of it. That was the one that he beat me. I think it might have been a similar situation where he killed my J-Ruler, and then I sort of died from there. And then round 3, basically at this point it plays very similarly, this back and forth, and so it's just a matter of if my J-Ruler can stay alive, then I win, and so that one has stayed alive, and so I was able to win. But that last one, if I remember, it was a really close game too. But the whole thing was that whole interactions, especially against that deck, I found a lot of fun because I love slow decks and playing against each other. So, Oscar, how long was the full round?
So game? I was there playing Pokemon Go the entire time. We're sitting right next to Colin, and I lured the spot like 2 or 3 times. Went to go get a drink from the front, came back, used the restroom, talked with other people, sat back down, played more Pokemon Go, and it was 2 hours. 2 hours to get that series done.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. See, that's the type of stuff I like to do. Like that, I heavily enjoy that. Like I was talking to.
Meanwhile, real quick, I'm sorry. Keurig and Scarlet finished their game in 15 minutes and we're done. Just wait for Colin to finish. Like Keurig, who won their match, which is Roderick, could play Colin.
If anyone's ever played like video games and stuff with me, like if you go and play like with me on StarCraft or Risk or anything like that, you know that I like that sort of long strategy of just like, I'm not going to attack anyone. I'm just going to sit here and I'm just going to do my thing. You do your thing. We'll meet at a later date. And so because of his deck and how it worked, I was like, you keep doing your thing. You gain as much life as you want. As long as I stockpile enough gems, I think I should be fine. As long as my ruler doesn't die and stuff. So I really like playing those games.
So, going to finals, Colin, real quick.
Yeah. So, I went against Keurig again. So, this was fun. So, basically...
And real quick, everybody was so entertained with the idea of how long that game took, 2 hours. Like, let's time this next one. Yeah, let's time it. Let's see how long it takes Keurig and Panda to play it out. But, Colin, go ahead.
So, I draw my hand. I'm like, Mulligan, Mulligan. Okay, I got, I think I had a fair spell and then a bunch of other cards. Draw my first stone, and it's a Spirit Magic Stone. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I can fare if you quick cast something. We'll see what happens. And so he didn't play anything quick cast. Turn 2, I'm like, call stone, another Spirit Magic Stone. I'm like, okay, I don't have any Lorites or anything, so I have nothing to counter cure it at this point in time. So I'm like, okay, this is kind of annoying. I don't have any green cards to play, really. We'll just pass turn. So he did his thing. He's swinging in because he has PL and God Pig. Kyric's doing its Kyric thing. And it comes into my turn. I'm like, call stone, and it's another Spirit Magic Stone. I was like, okay. And so I technically passed turn, and then I was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to concede this. And I was like, I'm just going to see, and I want to see what the next stone was going to be. And it was the 4th Spirit Magic Stone. So all 4 Spirit Magic Stones were on the top of the freaking deck. So I didn't even get a chance to play that first round. So I was pretty peeved about that.
I remember that they thought it was crazy because it happened sometime in the past at that store. They're like, check the rest of the stones, check the rest. And like only one of them was misplaced. The rest were like in order, right?
Yeah. So that was fun. Like, if I had Lorite, maybe I could have survived long enough just to, stave them off a little bit. But like, I didn't pull a single Lorite. I run a place out of it. Yeah. And I'm mulligan and everything. So I was so going into game 2, it was a matter of, I think it wasn't that exact thing, but I pulled like 2 Spirit Magic Stones, but they weren't first, so I still had a white to play stuff, but I just couldn't play stuff fast enough because the green still hindered me a little bit, and I don't think I pulled Lorite again, and I didn't pull any of the cards I put in there to counter it, and he had sideboarded also into Isis for round 2, and switched out a bunch of cards, and so basically how he ended up winning the game. So I was able to survive long enough, and so I was on turn 3, passed to him, or turn 4, passed to him, and all I had to do was survive until turn 5, coming into my turn, and I had enough stuff laid out that I could judgment and was confident enough to survive for a while because I had the gems stockpiled because I had certain things on the field. I had the certain cards in hand, like Flourishing Hope, I think, to have Tiger survive. And so during that time, he pinned me down all the way to 12 life. And I looked at his ruler, Isis, and only it didn't have any strength counters on it. So I was like, okay, he wouldn't be able to get up to 5 to play the spell. So I should be good. And so I passed turn to him. And so he did his thing and stuff. And I forgot about this card, but then he was like, and he, Whirlwind Conflagration, he did the whole 4 to himself, 8 to this, or 6 to this, 8 to this, and 12 to my face for that 1200 damage, and I was like, well, dang it, that sucks.
It was pretty entertaining though to see like he won his champion playmat of that card with that card.
Yeah. So
that was it. Yeah. It was a fun time watching Colin play all those rounds because I was out.
It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. It's still worth it, even with 5 people. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I remember at one point, and Colin followed up with this. What was going on with him and his Scarlet player? But the Scarlet player is Omar. He comes by and sees that I'm playing the Brunhild, and he's like, "Wow, just 2 stones." Because I had Judgment and maintained with just 2 stones the entire time. And Colin was telling me, yeah, no, each of our games, he always had like all 10 stones of his in play.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Because games go long enough that he's just like calling a stone each turn, and he either doesn't, he judgment it, and each time he judgments, he just judgments, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to use 3 darkness gems to kill that, so he just goes right back to calling stones like it was before. Mm-hmm. So he would just get to 10 stones, and he would do stuff like he'd have all his 10 stones untapped and pass turn with like 3 cards in hand, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do anything. I don't know what you got going on in there. You could literally, because he'd have 10 stones plus the Resonator that can tap for will, and the Resonator that attacks and produce will and stuff like that. So he's able to produce a lot. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun.
It was. Then we ate
Oscar and I ate a shiz ton of pizza, which apparently we don't know how to buffet because we went over to, what is it called?
Cece's,
which is a buffet pizza, and we were getting our pizza, and it's like and each time I got the pizza, like I'd go back, I'd look over, and then they put out the fresh new pizza that was, and I was like, oh, they're they're waiting for people who don't understand to get the old stuff. And the same thing with desserts, where it was like, gosh, we were sitting there waiting for them to put out the desserts, the fresh ones, and we're like, all right, I guess they're not. So we go and get our desserts, and like we sit down and start eating them, and they put out the fresh ones. And it's like, well, gosh dang it! I guess they're just waiting for suckers to go get the old stuff.
For the record, I was able to get fresh stuff on quite a few.
Oh, but you had to really try to eat that.
And then we drove back home. So fast forward to Sunday, we're in Austin at Mothership where we play, and there's the 3 of us, so we didn't do the tournament. So that one didn't happen, unfortunately. Like
similar situation to Dallas as well.
Yeah, and I was surprised we didn't see any San Antonio people come out to Austin or Dallas, and they usually do come out. So
we'll see.
Yeah, I do know Lubbock had 9, so they got to fire off and have an actual tournament.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Man, that's where
they went. To anybody in the Texas area, Central Texas, like our Dallas people or San Antonio people, if you are listening, we do want to run some sort of special event coming up soon. I know we're still talking with Mothership on the dates and all that and how it's all going to structure out, but either she said early December or maybe some cool special thing for pre-release for the next set, which is January 11th, she said, weekend. So keep an eye out for that. Or if you're in the Texas area, or in Texas, I should say, in Central Texas area, come on out. It'd be cool. We'll keep.
Yeah, we're gonna try and see if we can't put together a decent size, cool little thing. We'll have some cool pricing and stuff like that. And if enough people show up, maybe we'll even do some other side stuff as well. So, yeah, keep an ear out for that. But Oscar and I did a pretty fun game too.
We did. So I wanted to play Colin. I was like, Colin, I want to see how I would have done. I played you, played I, lost, whatever. That's on the side. And now
no. He's pretty past. He was like, I want to see how my Ayu does against your Panda. Play 2 games. I like destroy him. So, all right, go ahead.
Anyways. And I was like, no, this is it. You know what? I would have played Lucifer if anything else. I pulled Lucifer that day. And this where it gets very interesting. I think it was like game 2, and I'm like, we should record this. This is really crazy the way this is playing out. and
it played out similar each time.
It did. Game 1, I got down to 3 cards left in my deck.
Wow. Yeah, and I had 3 cards as well. It was basically a race to the bottom almost. Yeah. And basically, because he was very Lucifer, I judgmented and was trying to clear out his field. He was making me discard cards, this whole thing. And then I forgot that he has cards in there that just straight destroy J-Rulers. And so I think he tried it once, and I blocked it with Flourishing Hope or something like that.
No. Twice. So there was one where you blocked with Flourishing Hope. There was another one where you canceled it Fair Spell. The rune.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then, but you ended up killing it at some point.
Yeah, because I ended up having Freyla Resonator in play, and I ended up hitting you, which it was a misplay, but you corrected me in the spot, but I had to target a Resonator, and I wasn't targeting one, so I targeted my Resonator because you had 2 Barrier Pandas in play. But I killed it with, what's it called?
The Null Darkness?
Yeah. So that's
yeah.
What I was able to do. Which I knew the key was his Panda deck, is just kill the Panda, and you might survive. Especially because each time I was generally still the 4,000 to 3,000 range of life, so I was able to do it without worrying too much.
This time he was out at like 22 life, and I was at like 14 or something like that. And it got down to the situation where it was kind of like before, so I was just sweetening in with 1 drops. And so he had bigger ones, so I was either miscalculating them, or I think I had 2 escape jewelers, so I just kept putting them and resting 2 of his resonators and bouncing them back, so that he perpetually just had 2 rested resonators that could never attack while I was trying to swing in and pin him down for 1. And at some point I realized I can't pin him down fast enough before one of us decks out, so all I need to do is just sit back and not die and wait for him to deck out.
He was at one point, Constant's draw a card, jeweler, pass turn. My turn. Tap down those 2, and then let me play my turn out. And I was like, I got you, man. I'm gonna keep playing stuff. Draw, play Joan, pass turn. Draw, play Blazer. Oh, you favor spelled it? Cool. Okay, whatever. Pass turn. And like, at a certain point, he couldn't tap everything down. He couldn't destroy everything. At one point, I was like going through the thing, like, okay, miscalc, arrival. Okay, he has 2 arrivals in deck. He has whatever destroys Resonators. I'm like counting it out. But yeah, no. It was
so he ended up winning at the very end.
I 2-0'd him. But on game 2 was a crazier one because we didn't get down to the 2 or 3 cards. We got down to where I had 3 life, he had 2 life, and I was able to just take that last one with my J ruler who had flying.
Yeah.
I got him to play his Lorites on all the Resonators because I knew he was freaked out by them that he forgot about the J ruler, and I just judgmented. I was like, oh yeah, fine, I got Lucifer's judgment ability. Because he's always stopping it.
Yeah. So that was pretty fun. Maybe we'll do something about that, video about that later on.
But that was our weekend.
So
it was pretty.
It's pretty fun overall, I think.
You guys can let us know in the comments below how y'all's weekend's gone.
I had a terrible weekend. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't as good as you guys.
You didn't play Force Will?
No, I didn't play Force Will.
Lame.
I know. Actually, Oscar was telling me there was an ARG in Davis, and I actually might have been able to make that if I had planned for it.
Yeah, they posted too. I think they had 8 or 9 people as well. They're just saying that due to some of the smoke, some people may have not come out.
Yeah. But yeah, let us know how you guys went with especially like what ruler ended up taking your ARG as well. I'm curious to see what the spread was of the strongest ruler. So ours was the Keurig / Isis deck, took ours, but it was 5 people. So I had side deck prepared for stuff like Time Spanning Witch and that as well. So and IU, and didn't play against any of that. So I'm curious how.
Lucifer, Oscar?
What's
knowing, would you have tried to bring Lucifer? Would you rather have played Lucifer?
Yeah, probably. I had it with me.
I told him.
It was in the deck.
I told him.
Yeah.
No, I told Oscar. I was like, Oscar, you're gonna want to play Lucifer. Probably you're gonna regret it. I told him he's gonna regret it.
Oh! You know what? Real quick, I want to verify something. Bryson and Roderick, you guys are still listening. If you're listening. How often did I say I was hungry when I was at the ARG?
He said it so
every 10 seconds or whatever. I was like, I could swear I only said it once, maybe another time a little bit later.
He said it at least 4 times.
At
minimum 4 times. He mentioned how hungry he was, and I was like, oh my god, Oscar, I played this game. You're gonna have to wait.
I don't recall any of that.
It's like talking to a little kid.
So if you guys are listening, let us know. Because I want to prove him that I didn't, but
because I was making sure he ate enough, because I was like, you better eat a bunch of food for how much you said you were hungry, man.
And I ate so much, and then he made me drive, and I was tired. Man, his car's got some get up. We're not talking about Forcible anymore. I'm sorry. I think that's all we have. I know it's a shorter podcast, by 7 minutes or so, but thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, we'll have some. Like I said, we'll have an interesting Patreon podcast, and we'll have some cool Patreon video for this week as well. Outside of that,
some Keyforge stuff. If you guys are interested in that, product just came in. Have it over here in the corner.
Keyforge. I got to open my Transformer Metroplex deck over there and do some stuff for that, and some other Transformers videos if you guys are interested in those. And obviously lots and lots of Force Will stuff. We're also, myself and Jeremy are going to be joining Stephanie on Wednesday at 9 p.m. on Central Time on Twitch. Where if you guys are in the Force Facebook group for Force Will, she had taken a poll on what YouTube channels everyone watches. We got third under Jeremy.
Which I thought was interesting. I was like, after you told me, I was like, wait, why'd she pick you and not me?
Well, because obviously I do all the work.
Oh,
anyways.
Yeah. Anyways.
Colin. Colin's not supposed to be able to represent TCG Scrubs.
I know. I'm the representation of TCG Scrubs.
She put Colin parentheses Team ARG and TCG Scrubs. So I'm a dual representation model. But
who got a second?
Jeremy.
Huh?
Jeremy got first and second because his Ruler School channel got first, and the GP streams, which he runs, got second.
Yeah.
Which GP streams are separate because those are run the actual Force of Will channels as opposed to his own. And then we got third.
Rigged. Okay, well, that's fine. Basically second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she had that poll, and so she's going to be talking about that. about content, the future of content creation for Force Will and stuff like that. So be sure to join that stream. I'm not sure exactly how it'll work or be structured, but I'll be there with Jeremy and Stephanie. So
make sure to join the stream and say, hey, why isn't Oscar here instead of Colin?
Yo, Oscar, we should stream our thing.
Have a Rebel stream at the same time.
just playing Force Will and shit.
There you go.
You guys should do a stream where you're reacting to our stream and you're like answering the questions and stuff like that.
What night? When was it again? I wasn't hearing you say the date. I was salty still.
Wednesday at 9 p.m. Oh, you have nothing to be salty.
We'll be there Wednesday at 9 p.m.
Real quick. What was I going to say? I had this really funny joke I was going to talk about.
Funny joke.
Oh, okay, listen. These two were like, hey, you should go and do this poll about Lancelot and what like playmat we're like they're planning on doing about Lancelot.
For ARG.
And you guys didn't even tell me about this best Force Will content creators poll I could have voted on.
You're in the group. You should have seen it.
Yeah.
I didn't. I rely on you guys.
It's not too late. Go vote now. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. But yeah, it's still there. It's just an open poll. You can click it.
Well, this is
and then everybody go vote, and we can later, like a couple weeks later, be like, see, we made #1 in the end.
I'm just saying, you guys are trying to get me to vote on like a really dumb.
It's because the playmat is way more important. That's the future. That's like because I'm gonna end up in possession of that playmat at some point. So it needs to be something I want.
I know we're ending it, but I want to talk about that playmat for a second. First of all, if you're still here, we will stream Wednesday at 9. Joey, if you're down, I'm down.
Yeah.
During their whatever. Also, that playmat I'm pretty disappointed with because it's like, oh, everybody voted. They all voted for Lich #1, and it's like,
oh yeah,
you're getting the Pearlies playmat from this New Dawn Rises. You know that, right, guys? Like, you're just getting that playmat again. There'd be like a Santa hat and some like snow around them, and that's it. It's like, it's very disappointing playmat. Like, I thought it was pretty dumb. Like, to leave the vote to people, and then that's what they wanted. It's like, get out.
Well, no, they left the vote in the GP group, not even the US group, where majority of the people are. So, or not the GP group, the ARG Circuit Series group, so and stuff. So it's like not even really the voice of the people. It's the voice of the people who happen to come across this random Facebook group.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit disappointed that like someone's like, hey, this is the previous playmat, you should switch it. And he's like, it's too late. People already voted and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but this is a tiny group. You should have done it in the US group where people would actually vote on it. It's like, well, I already started on the playmat. It's like, okay then. Hope maybe he'll do something super cool with it, and it'll be like, all right, that's at least worth it.
Invert some colors. Do something amazing. Make it completely different.
Yeah, make it a meme, But all right,
Force Will TCG US General was like part of this content creator vote.
Yeah, I mean, it's content.
I voted for it. That's where I get a lot of news.
Yeah, there's websites like Reddit. There was artists on there. It's everything. It's any content being produced, not just video and audio stuff.
I said our website wasn't part of that vote, but
I know, like, it should have been a separate entity of its own.
Yeah, a lot of effort in that, but but yeah, thanks,
like,
guys.
Yeah, a lot of effort. Oscar hasn't posted GP results in like forever. My bad.
Okay.
Anyways, I should represent the team.
Now that we stretched this another 7 minutes.
I just wanted to represent because I created it, man. That was it. All right.
Okay, bye.
I found it and I voted in it.